Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching Das Boot by Wolfgang Peterson. As you guys already might know, I'm pretty familiar with Peterson's work and I have reviewed one of his films on the channel, Air Force One, which was very entertaining, so do check it out when you have the time. Some other films that I've watched from him include Troy and Poseidon, but not The Never-Ending Story. I mean, I did technically watch it when I was less than, 5 or 6 years old. I do remember like Big Animals or something along those lines. Anyways, if it's worth reviewing, do let me know. I'll get on it right away. About Das Boot itself, I don't know too much about the movie. It's been recommended by literally all of my patrons for the longest time, but I couldn't get my hands on the director's cut till recently, so here I am. Apparently, there are quite a few cuts for the film, and I am, in fact, watching the director's cut at almost 3 hours and 30 minutes. I hope it's worth it. I don't know the genre of this movie, whether it has action or does it focus mainly on drama. But I do know that it's a war film set inside a submarine during World War II, and it's from the German perspective. As a matter of fact, apparently, this was one of Germany's most expensive productions till date, so I'm excited for that. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie, and over 190 movies, 2 TV shows, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. Das Boot, Peterson. Let's go. Damn, 40,000 German soldiers served on U-boats during World War II. 30,000 never returned. Holy crap. That puts things into perspective, doesn't it? War never changes. It's always politicians and stuff. Filmed by Wolfgang Peterson. It's based on a novel. Okay, I didn't know that. Hey, I recognize this actor. I've seen him in Air Force One, which was also directed by Peterson. I've seen him in 24, and I believe even Beverly Hills Cop 2. Okay. They're all from my boat. Okay, so that's some of his crew. I wonder whether we're in Germany or not. Yeah, he is the captain. There you go.
Mein zweiter Offizier.
It's the second officer.
Melde mich von Bord U96 zurück. Öl, Munitions- und Proviantversorgung abgeschlossen. Boot ist klar zum Auslauf.
Looks like their U-boat is ready. Looks like Captain Thompson can't even stand on his own 2 feet.
Nur noch besoffen.
He's always drunk now. In non-war times, you drink to party and celebrate for entertainment, but during wartime, they drink to forget, and that is incredibly sad. I think he's anti-Hitler.
Diesem zigarrenqualmenden Arschloch von Churchill.
Man, that was close. He turned it around.
Philipp, das ist nicht mehr die alte Gang.
The old bunch is gone. The old bunch is probably dead.
Das falschen Typen.
Yeah, Thompson knows what he's talking about.
Maulhelden.
Arschbacken zusammen, Eier einklemmen. Und den Glauben an den Führer im Blick.
Yeah, the belief in our Führer in their eyes.
Die werden auch noch ruhiger.
They'll know in time. Which goes to show that our captain is also anti-Hitler, or at least anti-war. Was that necessary, dude?
Komm, fassen Sie mal mit an.
Dude, I bet it's alcohol poisoning. I love the change in the camera work here. It was all rocky and haphazard in the previous scene during the party, and now it's steady. And I can see the money they spent on these sets and props. Holy crap. Knowing that this is one of the most expensive German productions till that date.
Unser Boot.
That's our boat. Looks like morale is high. People are smirking. But I bet that'll change.
Na, Männer, er will anständige deutsche Helden sehen.
Okay, I didn't think about it that way. Having a war correspondence is kind of like a double-edged sword. And they are technically getting a hero's farewell. Did they get their hands on real U-boats? Because Peterson is not shying away from these wide shots. Wow. How are they doing this?
Hier ist der Oberfeldwebelraum, das Haus sozusagen. Die Offiziersmesse.
I love this set and how cramped everything is.
Jetzt geht's hier weiter in den U-Raum.
Oh man, some German cured meat. Big fan. Damn, look at the engine room with all the pistons going up and down. Wow.
Machen Sie Fotos von einlaufender Besatzung, nicht von auslaufender.
It's better to take photos during the return because they'll look more war-hardened. There you go, they'll have grown beards by then.
Aus Mexiko kommen Sie?
You're from Mexico?
Ja, südlich von Mexico City.
Weiter Weg.
Für mich als Deutscher war das selbst.
As a German, I had to come, which goes to show he volunteered. When he said as a German, it goes to show that he's a patriot, so he supports the Führer. We have to keep an eye on that character.
Kinnmuskelspanner unser 1WO.
Our Mexican recruit.
Junger Marschierer.
A young machine
Weltanschaulich
who
durchgeformt.
follows orders without question.
Alarm!
Oh no, alarm. Wow. Look how fast they're moving. Makes sense, they're going down so they don't get spotted.
April, April. Übung ist das halbe Leben. Nur kein Moos ansetzen.
Wait, this was a practice drill? I guess that makes sense. The captain wants to know their response time. And the war correspondent looks relieved. And they're going to try and dive to see how much the boat can handle. I mean, they are called U-boats, but they're technically submarines.
Irgendwann ist natürlich Schluss. Ist klar. Hält der Druck einfach nicht. Dann wird das Boot vom Wasserdruck.
I love how everybody goes out of their way to scare this correspondent. Who looks horrified, by the way. They're all laughing at him.
Das muss das Boot abkönnen.
150.
150.
Reicht für heute.
Oh, good.
Auftauchen.
We know the boat can at least handle 160 meters below the surface. And I feel this war correspondent's relief. I'll be crapping my pants, personally.
Freundin?
Your girl? Dude, you're like 15, man. What girl? Oh, pretty.
Sie ist schwanger.
She's pregnant. Just love these exterior shots. And what's most impressive about them is the fact that these are open waters, not some closed set.
Musik fehlt hier. Unser Hitler-Jugendführer könnte mal eine Platte auflegen lassen.
Hitler Youth Leader.
Den Tipperary-Song, wenn ich bitten darf.
I mean, they are making fun of him now, but he might do something unhinged later, which I have to watch out for. Please let me know if there is a making of video for this movie, because I would really love to know how they're doing these exterior wide submarine shots.
Das Geistige kommt hier zu kurz.
Intellectual starvation. I mean, what else is there to do?
Neuer Kurs, Herr Karlein?
Stop questioning your captain, you idiot. Let him work.
Verdammt nochmal! Wann kommt endlich für uns der Befehl?
Still no orders. He's just waiting and waiting and waiting for nothing.
Gehen Sie mal so in Anschnitt. Ja, kann ich das mal haben? Ja, das wird sehr gut, ja. Und das gleiche nochmal mit einer anderen Zeit und dann...
Yikes! They're not here to play around. It's not like they're hiding their feelings. They're letting him know exactly what they think of him. That's a joke. Everybody's so bored. 2nd November 1941. Dear Francios. Oh, he's writing to that girl. It's not like he'll be able to send these letters. Alarm! And I'm very sure this time around it's not a false alarm.
Geräusche werden schwächer. Und dann weiter aus.
That means they're moving away from whatever was causing the sound. Dude is just drenched in ideology. I mean, everybody has beards and stuff except him. He cares about his looks. Well, Wolfgang Peterson is certainly taking his time.
Was ist denn eigentlich? 300 Meter?
They're excited for some action finally.
Für mich gibt's nichts Schöneres als so ein U-Boot.
For me, it's the best thrill with the U-boats and sailing ships. Skimming across the sea. Wow. And I believe this is the first time we're seeing the captain smile.
Wir müssen noch längst da sein. Warum meldet sich Bertolt nicht?
Jeez, these underwater shots are... I don't know, they're so well done.
Keine Peilung, gar nichts.
That's not good news. 60 degrees, they have contact. But with what?
Wasserbomben.
Depth charges.
Das ist kein Frachter.
They have visual contact.
Läuft auf uns zu. Einsteigen.
I mean, that's their only move, right? To go underwater. Oh, the change in lighting, it's all red now. I love how the entire crew is silent because any vibrations can be picked up by the radar.
Tiefe 2. Torpedogeschwindigkeit 40.
Things are getting real. I bet they aren't bored anymore. Blue light here, huh? Oh, that was amazing, that reveal of the destroyer that close. Jeez, what a shot. And they dropped the depth charges, oh man, right above their heads. I can feel the claustrophobia.
Kein.
No serious damage.
Jetzt wird's psychologisch, meine Herren.
Now it gets psychological. They all realize the seriousness of the situation they're in. They couldn't even launch their I don't think it was a direct hit, because a direct hit would have just sunk them right then and there. Amazing performances by the cast. I wish I knew their names. I suspect that these might be some extra scenes in the director's cut, these quiet moments, which I think is pretty important to show the fear these kids are facing. They're coming straight for us. 150. Almost above us.
Tiefer, Lee, schnell.
Oh,
Hinten oben 10.
I can feel the tension. They're in the red now. They crossed 160. Oh man, they could get crushed like a can of soda. More charges. Dude, these explosions are amazing. The way Peterson is showing it, that's how these depth charges work. They don't have to hit their target. The blast needs to be close enough so that the pressure will destroy the sub. What an amazingly composed shots. We can see every single face. That's a sign of a mature director. Are they out of danger? Man, I can't believe Peterson is making me care about a bunch of Nazi soldiers. But the captain, we can see he's clearly anti-Hitler. These underwater shots have to be miniatures, right? They're so well done.
Wartet, bis wir uns sicher fühlen und auftauchen. Nicht dumm, die Brüder. Weiter auf Schleichfahrt. Wenn's dunkel ist, tauchen wir auf.
Jawohl, Karl.
I mean, he's indirectly complimenting the British again, which goes to show that he's a pretty smart person, right? Like, he's not underestimating his enemy. Man, these shots never get old. And they're celebrating. Look at that idealist kid.
Schlecht rasiert die Biester, ne?
This meat needs a shave. Just like his face. They're all being checked for crabs. I like the fact that Peterson is keeping some humor in the film, Come to think of it, I don't think we've seen this U-boat attack anything yet. They were preparing to attack that destroyer, but they couldn't. Dude, the weather is horrible. Apparently in human history, more people have died from disease during war than actual war itself. I need to look that up, whether it's true or not.
Kein Zweck mehr, Herr Kaloy.
Is this Allied music? Did something just break off? Man overboard! They just lost someone. Or are about to. They've got him, they've got him. Oh, poor SOB. Must have hit his head. Oh man. The bread is going bad. Oh, it's one of theirs, okay.
Das ist Thompson!
Dude, it's Thompson! Looks like he's out on his mission.
Ein Dutzend Boote haben wir im Atlantik. Von Grönland bis zu den Azoren, lumpiges Dutzend!
Okay.
Hier draußen im Grün sieht eben alles anders aus, Herr Leutnant.
Again, the lighting in this scene is absolutely fantastic.
Wie viele Boote sind von uns dran?
5.
Riskieren wir es?
They're actually contemplating on taking action. Holy crap, that's dangerous.
Wird klappen, Herr Kaloy. Ganz sicher.
Oh man, they're going to go for it. And we have the action music kicking up again. Fire! Oh! That's number 3. They've been spotted.
Was mit den Torpedos?
Any minute now. Dude, that's a Junghans watch. They still make watches today. Very good watches. I didn't know they made watches for the Nazis. I mean, it's not good news for the Allies, but I can see that they're happy.
Da saufen zwei ab.
Oh man, one of the Allied ships, they're sinking. I thought the Hunt for Red October, this interior set of that sub was well made, but holy crap, like, this even seems more cramped and claustrophobic compared to that movie. Oh, another depth charge. This is quite an experience, this movie. Oh man, the picking is getting more frequent, which means they're closer. I don't know what just happened, but it's not good news. Wolfgang Peterson is doing an amazing job in making me care for a lot of these characters, and holy crap, a fire! That'll eat up all the oxygen. Can you imagine being stuck in a container filled with smoke, barely being able to breathe? I cannot fathom. What a fantastic performance from this actor playing the captain. They're going below 160 again. It's almost like he's annoyed by the ping sound. I mean, this movie does have a lot of downtime where there's not too much tension, but when the tension kicks in, it's just dialed up to 11, man. Almost every single shot has three-dimensional depth to it. None of these shots look flat, which is extremely difficult to do in a confined space. Second contact. Oh no, no, no. I wonder what the message of this film is, what Wolfgang Peterson is trying to convey.
210 Meter.
210. Is that realistic? Could they actually do this in real life? Rated for 90, now they're up to 30. Oh man, the bolts are coming off from the pressure. And he's telling his men to be quiet in a situation like this. This is crazy. Another depth charge. Oh, this one's so close. Oh, what a shot. What did they even do at this point? Shell-shocked. Look at his eyes. He's not in the right state of mind.
Zurück, Johann.
Oh, poor Johann. That is so messed up. I mean, I can see why the captain is not scared. He has dead eyes. He's been through this before. And he accepts the fact that he could die at any second. Unlike the rest of his men. And think about how happy they were. How high the morale was at the beginning of the film. Look at them now. Do they have things under control? Because people seem to be resting.
In 10 Minuten auftauchen.
Will surface in 10 minutes. Okay, that's some good news. Because the last thing we heard was that they were sinking.
Sie haben uns nicht gekillt.
They didn't kill us or they couldn't kill us? What does he mean, the captain? Looks like they got at least one of them, right? Oh! What a shot. Look at the fire. That's real fire. This is an amazing, amazing shot composition. Holy explosion. Oh man, there's still men on board jumping to their deaths. They're on fire, man.
Warum hat die keiner vom Schiff geholt? Verdammt nochmal!
More likely just abandoned them because it's too risky and they didn't want to risk getting shot at.
Beide Maschinen, halbe Fahrt zurück.
We cannot take prisoners. I mean, there's no space for them. But holy crap, they're just leaving them behind. What a horrific way to die. What are you going to write about, Werner? What a scene. My favorite scene of the film so far.
Ich wollte mich entschuldigen. Da gibt's nichts zu entschuldigen.
Right, he was delirious earlier and he wants to apologize.
Ausgerechnet Sie, Johann.
Mir ist das noch nie passiert, Herr Kallein.
You can see the sincerity in his face.
Das wird nicht wieder vorkommen, Herr Kallein.
Leider wird's nichts mit La Rochelle.
Oh?
Wir haben einen neuen Einlaufhafen.
They're not going home. They're going somewhere in Italy. Instant demotivation.
Ich gehe in Vigo vom Bad. Zusammen mit dem Leibner. Soll ich Ihre...
Oh, he did write those letters to the girl.
Ja.
Oh, what a nice thing to do. I completely forgot about those letters. Such an emotional moment. Wow. It's a stealth meetup. They can't do it during the day. Dude, this looks like a luxury vessel compared to their sub, man.
Herzlich willkommen, Herr Kapitän.
They think he's the captain.
Nein, bitte. Diesmal hatten sie uns ganz schön am Kanthaken.
Tja, also, wie ist das so unter Wasser? Auf Tauchfahrt?
Nur ein bisschen die Beine vertreten.
They barely ate anything, especially the captain. Shows the seriousness of their situation, or at least their orders. Their request has been denied to go back home.
Sie also auch, Leutnant.
Oh man! Even Warner and the chief have to stay back.
Wer weiß, was für einen Leutnant die ihn geschickt hätten.
Wir bleiben an Bord. Befehl vom BDU.
Oh, the letters. This has to be one of the most intimate war films I've ever seen. They want to get as close to Gibraltar as they can on the surface and then dive at the last moment.
Das macht kein Krawall.
I have a feeling that crossing the Strait of Gibraltar might be the final act of the film.
Hier kurft ja die halbe englische Flotte rum.
They can even see the British vessels. Things are tense again.
Ruder hat Steuerbord, beide große, schnell Beeilung.
What just happened? Did they get spotted? Peterson is going out of his way to remind us that even though the command is bad, average soldiers, they're just obeying orders. Oh. Not only have they been spotted, they're being bombed by planes. The cinematography, man, the cinematography is amazing.
Alarm! Fluten!
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice anymore. They have to dive. Oh no, they're still sinking. Oh no. Nothing is working and they're still sinking.
Boot ist nicht zu halten.
We can't hold her. Oh no. I think... They can't even measure anymore. They're at the bottom. Oh, how did they get out of this? I don't see a way for them to get out of this.
Dass das Boot das mitmacht.
I mean, the captain is somewhat impressed. Oh man. Oh man. This is horrifying. Churchill, Roosevelt, they are considered somewhat heroes in the Western world, but they did send tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of men to their deaths. Really puts things into perspective. Dude, this is a horror film at this point. Johann is actually helping. All the leaks have been stopped.
Gut, Johann.
Good, Johann.
Sehr gut.
Very good. Oh, I don't know why this scene was a little emotional for me, but man, I'm proud of Johann.
Fahrtmesser und Echolot wahrscheinlich genauso.
All radio contact is dead. Which doesn't surprise the captain. It looks like they're already dead. The performance from the entire cast, they're perfect, man. Like, they're so believable.
Dieser Hund hat's gewusst. Deshalb wollte er uns beide auch von Bord haben. In Vigo.
Ah, the captain didn't expect them to come back. That's why he ordered them ashore.
Das 15 Stunden schon. Schafft es nicht.
Is he actually losing hope?
Ich war ganz besoffen.
Dude. What a scene. It's amazing that the captain is still stone-faced, even at the face of death. The absolute silence here is palpable. It's only their breathing we hear. Is it moving? Dude, it's moving! But don't celebrate too early.
270 Meter!
The chief is overcome with emotions, and so am I to a certain extent. I cannot believe they're surfacing! Oh man. They finally get fresh air, but again, they're surrounded by Allied boats. Oh man, it's working.
Diesmal erwischen sie uns nicht!
A fadeaway transition? Did they make it? Dude, they made it. Against all the odds. Is this film going to have a happy ending? Air raid sirens. Oh no! Oh! They're getting bombed by the Allies after making it home safe. All this way, all this perseverance just to get bombed as you return home. Oh, dude, Johann is dead. And this dude. Oh, that's Ullman, that poor kid. Well, that's gone. With the flag, by the way. I think that was very much on purpose. Oh man, don't tell me the captain is going to die. He's dead. from the shrapnel, I bet, right? The only survivor is the war correspondent. Holy crap! What a film! I definitely haven't seen anything like this before. Okay, I took quite a while to collect my thoughts. First off, that was one of the most intimate war films that I have ever seen. I thought it was as close to perfection as you can get when it comes down to pure filmmaking. This is easily the best film I've seen from Wolfgang Peterson by a long shot. Apart from the writing and directing, of course, the other strengths of the movie were pretty much everything from the sets, score, atmosphere, cinematography, performances, and sound design. That's not even including the storytelling. I don't think I can think of any weaknesses here. At first I thought the slow pacing would be a negative, but I can't fault the filmmaker for that. It was necessary to build the tension, and I finally understand why the director's cut is considered the best. It's because of these slower moments that put everything to perspective. Let's start with the writing and directing by Wolfgang Peterson. From the credits, I saw that it was based on a novel, and since I haven't read that, I don't know how faithful it was to the books, but from what we just saw, it was near flawless. The story here was pretty straightforward. I don't believe there were any crazy twists or turns. There were plenty of surprises though, especially in the third act as the U-boat sank to the bottom of the sea, or at the very end when they were being bombarded by the Allied planes. Those were big surprises. Anyways, Peterson does take a lot of time in introducing us to the crew and the state of mind they were in as they embarked on their mission. The captain, who was unnamed, I think, was a war veteran who'd pretty much seen everything already compared to his fresh crew who've never seen battle. No wonder he thought of them as children. What's interesting is that even though they were Nazis, some of them, including the captain or the other captain like Thompson, they were pretty anti-Führer, or anti-war at least, with the notable exception of that young idealist we saw. Even he has a small character arc where he changes, I think, to a certain extent. He was prim and proper at the beginning, but by the end he had a beard. So there's that. There was some change in him. I like that. I think this was the first World War II film I've seen from the German perspective, and I think it was narratively brilliant. I ended up being sympathetic towards these kids and wanted them to survive. Let me put it another way. Let me rephrase that. Wolfgang Peterson made me care about Nazis. I never thought I'd say that sentence or any sentence like that out loud, but I guess there's a first time for everything. I think the point that Peterson was trying to make is that war is fought at the front lines and not with the high command. These were ordinary kids that were sent into battle without a second thought, completely disposable. Peterson made that clear at the beginning of the movie when I think the cue card said that the Germans were losing U-boats to the Allied forces, but they kept sending more, pretty much to their deaths, and they knew it. Even the captain knew it at one point when they were ordered towards Italy. I don't think this film was outright about the action itself. It was mostly about the people. It was completely focused on the crew of the U-boat. I don't believe we even got to see any other locations once they left on their mission, maybe except their rendezvous at the Spanish coast. And even in that scene, you could see the sharp contrast between the merchant vessel and the condition of the crew of the U-boat. A central theme of this movie, I think, was hope, something that Peterson gave the crew and took away multiple times. The performances during these scenes were amazing, especially from the captain, Werner, the war correspondent, and the chief. Those three were standouts. The captain, in my opinion, had an Oscar-winning performance. I will never look at that actor the same way again. The range of emotions he showed, even without moving a single facial muscle, That was incredible. The actor playing Werner was also so good. His character was kind of like the eyes and ears of the audience. We saw most things from his perspective, and he was among the only survivors at the end, along with the navigator, who was taken away by the ambulance before the air raid. And speaking of the air raid, the action scenes, especially when they were being attacked by the British, holy crap, they were riveting to watch. How Johann loses his mind under pressure, and how the captain reacted to the entire situation to bring the crew out of danger multiple times. The final act was complete bonkers. How the crew gave up hope when they sank, and how hope was restored as the repairs were completed. One particular scene that will stick with me for a long time was the aftermath of blowing up the British vessels. When the crew, including the captain, came up to the bridge and they were seeing the ship burn, they sent a final missile their way, and when they realized that the crew of the British vessel, they were abandoned, there was nothing they could do. The captain actually ordered them to retreat, leaving them behind as they jumped to their deaths on fire. What? That's some crazy imagery right there, and the cinematography was insane in that scene too. The ending was the final nail in the coffin. They survived being stranded almost 300 meters below at the bottom of the ocean. They made it back home safely, only to be bombed by the Allies. All this hard work, all this perseverance, the will to live, all for nothing. And that was the ultimate point made by the director Peterson here. That there is no point to war. It only brings death and despair to everybody, every single person involved. What an amazingly written and directed film. The cinematography and camera work in such a confined space, it also deserves special commendation. Almost every shot was excellently composed, so well thought out. The camera work in the more tense scenes, it was haphazard and shaky compared to when things are calm. Peterson favored a more static camera. The exterior cinematography of the actual U-boat was also spectacular during the times it was sailing through the open ocean. Wow. Those wide shots were insane, and that contrasted with the intimate shots of the crew provided a lot of perspective from both angles. My eyes were not bored for a second. The score was also extremely memorable, but the more impressive thing was the sound design. It was almost like I can still hear the sounds of the engine, the breathing of the crew as they were losing oxygen, the noises made by the hull when the U-boat was sinking, and the use of absolute silence when they were surrounded by the British Navy. I could go on and on and on about the incredible production. And speaking of the production, I'm officially out of words with how impressed I was with the effects Peterson's team achieved here. Those depth charges looked and sounded extremely realistic. The explosions were huge, and I bet they were mostly real. I wouldn't be surprised to find out they actually built a full-size replica of the real U-boat. I'm pretty sure they did, as some of the shots would have been impossible without it. I suspect a couple of miniatures were also made for the film, and I have to admit I couldn't tell which was which, and that's the highest praise when it comes to stuff like this. Finally, the interior shots, the interior sets of the sub were meticulously made and replicated from the real thing. It felt extremely claustrophobic and cramped, and I could almost feel the crew running out of air. Incredible. As I don't have any criticisms here, overall, Das Boot is an instant classic. I've never seen a war film from the German perspective. They're almost always they're shown as the outright bad guys, as one-dimensional characters, but this film presented them as human beings, as complex characters. Wolfgang Peterson's magnus opus was a masterpiece of modern cinema. It's absolutely timeless. The directing was amazing. The performances from the entire crew were some of the best of the era. The cinematography, sound, and production were crazy. And the story, it was as old as time itself. It was about war and the effects it has on ordinary men under orders. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video. Dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.